welcome back to our Girl Scout Cadets. My name's Sonora and I work for the Girl Scouts of Suffolk County. And today's virtual program is dedicated to art around the world. We will be learning an Asian-inspired mandala creation. We'll make lanterns to celebrate the month of Ramadan. And we will also be making cardboard African-inspired masks. So get ready to get creative. We'll be doing a lot of cutting, a lot of painting, and a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. So let's get started. In the early 20th century, artists like Pablo Picasso was inspired by the bold abstract design that they discovered in African tribal masks. They collected and used these works of art to influence their own styles of Cubism or Fauvism. In effect, they used African culture to refresh the tired tradition of figure painting in Western art. So African masks should be seen as part of a ceremonial costume. They're used in religious and social events to represent the spirits of ancestors or to control the good and evil forces in the community. They come to life possessed by their spirit in the performance of the dance or are enhanced by both music and atmosphere of an occasion. Some combine human and animal features to unite man with his natural environment. This bond with nature is of great importance to the African culture, and through the ages, masks have always been used to express this relationship. So for our project, we will be creating an African mask, but more of a modern day one, and this will be made out of cardboard and paint and glue. So you'll be using your creativity to create your own type of African mask. So for our updated African masks, you'll need cardboard of different lengths and thicknesses. So this one's pretty thick. This is going to be the base of my face. I actually cut out all of my pieces already, but just like we saw in those pictures, you could make it an animal, you could make it your own face. So these are the parts for my hair. Don't forget to maybe sketch out what you want to cut out. So I cut out some eyes, the top and bottoms of my lips. I have my nose. I also have two pieces for my eyebrows and some eyelashes, my pupils. So now the next step is I'm going to start painting. You can use crayons, markers, whatever you'd like. I prefer to paint the cardboard, so I have some acrylic paints. So just use what you have. I have my paints, and I have a cup of water just to rinse off anything. And I also have a glue stick so that I could start gluing my pieces together. So we are going to time-lapse this a bit just so that you could watch the process without it taking forever. So here you go. Okay, so I glued all my pieces down. I added more of tribal patterns along my hair, and I glued the back of it, but it probably needs a couple days to flatten out a little bit more just because the paint made it bend a little bit. But voila, my African face mask. Mandalas originated in Asia. The meaning of the word mandala in Sanskrit is circle, and it's a spiritual and ritual symbol in Hinduism and Buddhism, representing the universe. The circular designs symbolize the idea that life is never ending and everything is connected. The mandala also represents spiritual journey within the individual viewer. So the first level is understanding the unity in the cosmos, and second is for each individual to find their own place within it. It's sometimes drawn as a circle enclosing a square, but other times it's just a repetitive amount of different types of designs, and it aids in meditation and yoga. So I completely forgot that I actually have a book of coloring mandalas for adults. I don't know if you've ever used one of these books, but they're really good for helping with anxiety. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of different patterns that keep repeating throughout. But all mandalas will start off with a basic shape. You can Google a template to start off a mandala, but I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. And when I have my time lapse of me creating mine, it's going to be a little different from yours, just because. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my template. So I have my template right here. It's definitely going to be a little more intricate than yours will be, just because if you're a beginner, I want you to start with less patterns, less lines. So as you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sections, and then it's divided up into 8 different sections around the whole circle. So if I were to do this, what I would actually do is I might put a piece of tracing paper over this, and I would create a design so that I could at least see the guidelines through the paper, and then I would color them, or you can draw out your template in pencil and then do your designs in Sharpie or a gel pen, whatever you feel like doing, and then you'd erase the pencil marks after that. So I'm going to show you how to first start it off. Now, the reason I had you bring some bowls or circular shaped items is so that you could have a good template for yourself. Instead of having to print it offline, you can create one yourself. So we're going to lightly trace our circular shape because we will be erasing the pencil marks. Okay, and now I want to go into the middle. So it doesn't have to be exact, so we're going to say 7, so about 3.5 should be okay. I'm going to create a line down the center of my circle. Okay, and then I'm going to create a line in the opposite direction. And same thing. Diagonally. Okay, so I have about 8 spaces. If you want to add more, you could add more. I might add some more to mine. And then I will add my other circular shapes right into the center of here. Like I said, if it's not perfect the first time, that's okay. I'm going pretty quickly with this one so we can get started on creating our shapes. Okay. And I might want to add one more little circle in there, so let's see. I have my paint from the other project. Okay. All right. So for now, I want to start adding shapes throughout the entire circular mandala. And you can get creative, just keep repeating your patterns throughout. So if I start with a circle right here, you'll circle, 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 circle. It's just a bunch of repetition. more color, maybe more natural colors, but I really do like bright colors, so I might add a little yellow to these white spots instead of leaving it white. But here's a modern day version of a mandala, and I hope that you girls get creative with yours as well. Now Saturday ends the month of Ramadan, and I am half Egyptian and half Irish, so I am celebrating this holiday. So I thought it'd be a great idea to create Ramadan lanterns. So Ramadan lanterns are also called fanus, and they're accessories that are used during Ramadan. They're used as decorative lanterns crafted specifically for the holy month, and in a place like Egypt, lanterns and lamps have always been a special thing to Egyptians. They're signs that Ramadan is near, and the common sight during the 30 days of Ramadan, the whole country goes through a remarkable transformation throughout the whole month. So it's a special way to merge between Egyptian folklore and Islamic designs. Lanterns of all sorts are hung throughout the city, in the streets, decorating cafes, storefronts, homes. So these lanterns are hung from the windows and balconies on ropes across alleyways, and the city just glows. So I thought it'd be a really fun idea to create our own, and I will actually show you one that I have at home. Last but not least, we'll be making some decorations for the celebration for Ramadan. So clearly, because I'm Egyptian and I celebrate Ramadan, I have an actual lantern. I'm just going to light this here so that you could see what this lantern looks like. It has beautiful colors throughout. And we typically hang this in the celebration. So we will be making a paper craft that resembles this type of lantern. So what you'll need for this project is some cardstock or construction paper of any color that you'd like. You'll need a pair of scissors. Please ask somebody if you need help using scissors. You'll need a glue stick, maybe some ribbon, and I'll also show you another way to do it where it's a flat lantern, except other than the ones that are going to be hanging. So, all right, so what we'll do is we'll pick a color. I'm going to choose purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. And what I like about this one is the inside and the outside is different shades. Okay. So now I'm going to take my piece of paper and I will fold it directly in half. And now you'll be cutting strips. You're not going to cut all the way through. You're only going to be going like 3/4 of a way in, like so. Okay, and you'll do this throughout your paper. Try to keep it as even as you can. Okay. So now you can open up your piece of paper, and then what you'll do is you are going to roll your paper over itself. Now you could either tape it or you could glue it. So I'm going to tape mine. So what I'll do is I'll put some, I'm going to glue mine. I'm going to put some glue at the ends. Roll it until I get to this foot. Now I really want to smush this nicely so that way it sticks very well. You know what, I might put some tape on here before I continue. Just give me 1 second. I'll grab my tape. I love this project because it is so simple and you can get really creative with it. Okay, so now what I could do is I can smush this together so that it flattens out a little bit. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll attach a little hook here so that I could use this to hang as a lantern. So let me grab another piece of paper. And I will cut just a small strip. And now what I want to do, I do want to bend this a little bit so that it stays bent when it hangs. And I'm going to add 2 pieces of tape so I can tape this on the inside of my lantern. So that way you can hang it on string in your windowsill. Okay, you could decorate this with gold. I sometimes add some sparkles to make this really decorative, but just give me 1 second and we're gonna do it a different way so that we could use some tissue paper, and we'll be using construction paper, and this will be a great way to let it shine through your window. All right, so for this one, you'll want to just pay attention to how you're cutting out your paper. But this is a really fun one. To make it easier on cutting it, what I do is I fold my paper right in half, and I have a straight line. I made it at about 6 inches because you'll make this pretty big. So now what I'll do is, as if I'm having like a rounded roof, what I'll do is I'll extend the side of it first. I'll make a little, like a little tail. And now what I'll do is I'm going to make half of a dome, like so. You can even sharpen this out if you want to. Don't worry about the line marks when you're doing this. And then what I'll do here is I'll also extend this so that way the bottom part of it is creased out. All right, so now what I'll do is I'm going to cut out my piece of paper. Like I said, don't worry about this because you can always flip it onto the other side so that you don't really see where you marked it. And I did mine in Sharpie just so that you guys could see it a little clearer. Okay, so now I am cutting my piece out. Okay. All right, so now when I open this up, you have a little lantern. Okay, so now it's not finished yet. So now here's where it gets a little tricky. I'm actually going to, I don't really like the way that this looks. It's a little wide, so I'm just going to alter mine a little bit. Feel free to alter yours if you don't like yours either. All right, so now this part can get a little tricky, but if you keep trying at it, you'll be fine. So what you'll do is you can add just little rectangles, because this is where you'll add your tissue paper. So you just want to draw your little rectangles and your squares. Okay, and then pick a variety of different colors for tissue paper, and you'll tape them. You're going to cut out these shapes, and you'll tape your tissue paper to the back of your lantern. So I'm going to cut mine out, and we'll see how the end result turns out. Really, it's not nighttime, but it's perfect to do it at the window. The beautiful lantern. So what I would also do is poke a hole right here, put some string, or tape a bunch of them all over my window. All right, girls, so that concludes our Around the World art program. I hope that you enjoyed creating some of these different types of art, and I hope that you show it to other people, decorate your house with it, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining me.